I'll give you a chance to respond because I've been.
No, I'm waiting for the solution, Dr. K.
Yeah, so I mean, in your case, I think it's like sit, just sit. And you have to be careful because if your mind turns the sitting into a goal that I have to achieve, oh, I need to sit and that will be my growth. No fucking goal. Just sit, waste your time. What you need to learn how to do is waste your time. Do nothing, sit, be with yourself. And watch out for that mind. The second thing is awareness, okay? So as you sit, you will notice all of these things come up. So this is like, you asked me a question at the beginning, how do you start? So what I would say is sit for 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Sometimes we'll tell people to stare at a wall for an hour. And just look at what on earth goes on inside you. You will discover that it is a zoo of thoughts, feelings, emotions, drives, panics, worries, distractions. Your internal environment is such a mess. So what we need to do is just kind of calm that stuff down by like just letting it kind of run out of steam. So this is a principle of the mind that if we feed our mind, it'll continue to grow. But like what we need to do is just let it run out of steam. So just sit and do nothing for a while. People don't realize the part of our brain that exerts willpower has something to do with this part of our brain called the anterior cingulate cortex. The anterior cingulate cortex is a piece of where willpower comes from, but it is also the part of our brain that monitors conflict. So willpower and monitoring a conflict are actually technically the same thing. The same part of the brain activates. And if you pay attention to your own internal experience, what you'll realize is anytime you're using willpower, there's an internal struggle that you are paying attention to. It's like, I don't want to order chicken, I want to order fried chicken. So there's a monitoring of the conflict that goes on. That's anytime you're exerting willpower, there's this thing this way and this thing this way, but you are aware of it. You can't exert willpower if you're behaving automatically, right? That's why it's so easy to get lost in doom scrolling, because you're not even aware of what you're doing before, and then 4 hours have gone by and you're like, what? What happened? You're not aware. So this is the crazy thing from a neuroscientific perspective, and this is what the yogis will teach as well. Awareness is willpower. Awareness is self-control. And I've worked with tons of addicts. They come up for air, and maybe you've done this, and maybe people at home have done this. You go on this binge and then you come up for air and you're like, what have I been doing for a couple of days? What have I been doing for a couple of hours? Then you gain that awareness again. So the more that you are aware in the present moment, the more your problems will literally melt away. It's like crazy. I don't quite know how it works, but this is what yoga teaches you, that as you are aware, you stop rejecting things, you start accepting things, you focus on the present. All this stuff that everyone talks about is actually rooted in awareness. And we live in a society where if I say you don't need habits, you don't need willpower, you don't need discipline, all you need is awareness, people will reject me. That doesn't mean it isn't true. And the more that you explore awareness, the more you will realize, like I used to think it was like 50-50. I'm now at like 90% of the problem is awareness. I know it's weird. But
no, but does that, because we tend to look for solutions that involve action. Mm-hmm. Like, buy that thing, make that list, go to that meeting, watch that thing. It's all about action, action, action as a solution to our problems. So I was expecting you to tell me that the solution to everything we've discussed here is like this 7-step process of like, write this thing down, say this thing, and
Okay, so let's understand this, okay? You work really hard, Stephen. Is it hard to work hard?
For me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So now we have to understand, why is it not hard for you to work hard?
Why is it not hard for me to work hard? Because it feels good to work hard?
Absolutely. So your problem, see, this is the whole problem that everyone makes. So Stephen, you started a company when?
First one I was very young, but we won't count that because I didn't register the company. So the first one that was registered would have been when I was 18.
Okay. And you've started how many companies or been involved in how many companies?
10, 20, yeah.
And made like millions and millions of dollars and stuff, mm-hmm. Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Started a podcast. You've got how many millions of subscribers now?
Across the platforms, maybe 10 million, I don't know.
Okay, cool, right? So like this is a lot of work. And everyone's like, oh my God, I want to be like Steven. But the whole thing is, it's not hard for you. It's hard for you to not do it. So this is what I'm saying. You don't need to focus on the action. It's the internal thing that drives you like a fucking slave that is responsible for your success. If someone else wants a fraction of what you have, 10% of what you have, they don't need to duplicate your actions. They need to duplicate what's going on the inside. This is exactly my point.
They need your toxic fuel.
Yeah. Toxic fuel is on the path to happiness.